All right, welcome back. So it's time to start learning about deletes and the things we want to do with deletes. Let's go ahead and look at what the solution should do. So I've currently got my version set up to the latest version, right? It's probably in some other state if you were to actually visit it. But I want to show you what delete should do, and we're going to actually stage this one as a challenge where we have you do it by yourself, and then I'll show you the solution later. But I want to see if you could do these things yourself. So if you click on the edit button, it already shows you the red X, so you don't have to do that. But if you were to click on the red X, I want it to show a modal. So it's very similar to things we did for edit. So it's all bootstrap, but you should hopefully be able to figure it out. The modal says delete movie quote. This is actually a separate modal, so it's not the same modal. We're not reusing it a third time. So it's a separate modal. This modal is much simpler. It is a form, which is sneaky, but there's no inputs in it at all. It's just this text, right? And so you've got this guy set up, and then the button on it just says delete quote, and it shows up in red, so there's a certain bootstrap class for red. And what, if you were to look under the hood, is happening here is if I was to right click on it and say inspect elements, there is actually a form here, and this form has a hidden input on it, right? And this hidden input is entity key, and you can see it's filled with the entity key information. So there is a form here, and the delete button is a submit the form button. So if I click on submit the form, it's going to take that entity key, send it to the back end, and you can see that it's gone. If I do it again, I just click on this one, say delete, and you can see that that's gone. So what I want you to do, I've kind of spelled out the challenge here, is I want you to create the modal. There's some instructions in the doc about like the things that should happen in creating the modal. In addition to creating the modal, you're going to have to make some changes to the delete button itself. It has to launch a modal, which is obvious. It has to launch the modal. It also is going to have some JavaScript, so that's kind of in the next part. Some JavaScript that looks for the ID from inside the button, so you're going to have to add the ID in this step. Pull out that ID, stick it into the form, and then the form will be ready to be submitted. One thing to note is, since this modal isn't being used for multiple things, there's no reason to do that disable property true or false thing. You just don't even need that at all. Just update the value in that form, and then see if you can get those things together. You do not need to implement the backend yet. So if you succeed, it will show the dialog, that modal, you'll hit delete, and then it will go to a page called delete quote. So I recommend that you call it delete quote, and that's where I would like for you to end. So take a little bit and see if you can do that challenge all by yourself. All right, good luck.